Showtime is here, no time to fear. Carell is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Carell is the one that you need to know. Now it's showtime.
Laura Loomer thinks that Mitch McConnell is brain dead. Funny, we've thought that for years. And it's the most important issue on anyone's agenda. So why don't we ever get to it? We'll talk about that and so much more on today's Carell Show.
Now it's showtime.
It is the Carell Show. I am Carell. So very glad you are joining me, albeit a little bit late. So sorry for that. Really, it's because the topic that I'm doing today hits very close to home. And I didn't plan that. Not something that I thought was on the agenda on my bingo card. But it is. And that is, I got a phone call this morning that my niece Infinity, the niece that I was with the whole time through my sister's debacle, February, March, she's in intensive care. Delusional, can't speak, immense amount of pain, kidneys not doing well. They intubated her. They're putting her on dialysis. We don't know really what the cause of this is. I think she's septic from a port that she has in her body, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. And I don't even know if I'm going to have to go to Tucson. I may have to go to Tucson. I don't know. So we'll just take the week as the week goes, right? We're just going to do it as we do it. And that's the way that's going to be. But I've been on the phone all morning with doctors. I was literally just on the phone with the doctor. And they're stumped. They're not really sure what's going on, which is never good when the doctors say, "Oh, I've never seen anything like this before." It's like, well, can you find me a doctor who has? But c'est la guerre, right? Okay. So here we are, and it just resonates so profoundly with the topic today. And, one of the things that I do on this show that other shows do not do is I let you very closely into my world, and I try to make that relatable to you in your world. And I've been very blessed that for 30 plus years that formula has worked on major radio, KFI, KGO, and here on the podcast. So we can start with Mitch McConnell because it plays directly to the topic at hand today. Mitch McConnell should have medically retired from the Senate years ago. He was not healthy enough to be in the Senate. Now, I'm not saying he should have become an old, useless, retired, whatever, but we age, And very few of us in our late 80s are able to keep up the schedule of a senator, okay? There might be a couple, but he obviously wasn't one of them. He has medical conditions. I'm not sure what they are, but whatever they are caused him to zone out a couple times. He's had the same bruises as Donald Trump on his hands, which means he's been doing IVs and or blood draws. He's 80 plus. When you're 80 plus, look, we're all going to be sick at 80 plus in some way, shape, or form. And so here we have a man who was, 86, 87 years old, who became unconscious at his home. We know this. The paramedics arrived and CPR was initiated. We know this. It's on the radio. On the radio. Now, I will tell you, as you know, I watch a ton of medicine TV. Real, not Grey's Anatomy, but real medicine TV. I grew up with handicapped parents. I then graduated right into a generation of friends with AIDS. And being me, I had to learn everything about all of it. And then had a late husband with HIV/AIDS. So I may not be a doctor, but I play one on TV. So I will tell you that an 86-year-old man found unresponsive where CPR has to be initiated. How long has he been down? Has the brain been deprived of oxygen? These are all questions that they're not answering. I believe, for once in her life, I believe Laura Loomer. Okay? Laura Loomer yesterday said her sources are telling her that he is brain dead and that they are just keeping him alive on paper because of politics, because of the way that it works. If he's alive past August 3rd, then there won't be any kind of special election or any kind of replacement. If he dies before August 3rd, then Andy Bashir would get to appoint a senator. They don't want that because they're afraid he'll appoint a Democrat. So in order to keep their balance of power in the Senate, they are literally
visiting reallycorrell.com daily. You're missing out. Get the podcast, videos, and the blog, including recipes, at reallycorrell.com. That's really KAREL.com.
Showtime is here, no time to fear. Corel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Corel is the one that you need to know.
So a law goes into effect August 3rd, passed by the Republican Senate in Kentucky, that prevents Andy Bashir, the Democratic governor, from appointing anyone to replace Mitch. If Mitch dies before August 3rd, he can replace him. His wife is in China, so she can't sign the documents to withdraw life support. And obviously they are ignoring any advance directive that he had. Now look, I am just going on supposition. I'm not his doctor. I don't have a view of his medical charts. But I know what I know about medicine, and that is a great deal. If you are healthy and you're 40 years old, okay, you're healthy and you're 40, and for some reason you suddenly go into cardiac arrest, and they are able to get to you and give you CPR within minutes of going into the cardiac arrest. Once they get your heart back into normal sinus from asystole, once they get it back, if you're 40 and you're healthy, there's an 80 to 85% chance that you're going to come out of that okay, that you'll make a full recovery, barring whatever caused the heart attack in the first place. Okay? As you age, and what's called your comorbidities, the other things that are wrong with you, as you age and there's comorbidities, your percentage for survival from such event goes down. At 86 years old, with the obvious comorbidities that he has, that Mitch McConnell has, his chance of regaining consciousness and being able to resume his duties at all is 1 to 2%. And the odds are not, that's infinitesimal. You stand that same chance of being attacked by a shark. He's not, unless it's all been a bunch of lies and he wasn't found unresponsive and they weren't giving him CPR, unless all of that is fake. If that's what happened, Mitch McConnell is on life support. He has to be. After everything I know about medicine, he would have a fractured sternum. He would definitely have broken ribs, just right out the gate. He would probably now, after 3 weeks in, have pneumonia and or sepsis. So even if he came out of whatever it was, he would have many other things to battle to get better. Mitch McConnell is not getting better. And if he does, he is not going to be able to function as a U.S. Senator. His time is up. And they're doing Weekend at Bernie's. They are literally keeping this guy's corpse alive. If what Laura Loomer says is true, and I believe it is, they are literally keeping his corpse alive to prevent Democrats from having a vote in the Senate. That is one of the lowest things I've ever heard a political party do. And I said this yesterday. I don't care what you think about Mitch McConnell. No human deserves to have that happen. Of course, my friends disagreed and said he deserves to suffer. I'm not that person. Okay? He's evil. I do not like him. He has helped bring about the downfall of the United States. But his passing should be quick. You know? And so this is what's happening. And what is at the core of that? You know? What is at the core? The core is his health. His overall health. The health he went into the situation with. That's why my book is called Die Healthy. Because you're going to get sick. But when you get sick, if you're as healthy as you can be, it matters. All of that matters. And the reason that it's pretty weird that we're talking about this today, and then my niece ends up in the ICU this morning, is how much do I let you in? How much do I share to try to bring relevance to this topic? Because yesterday, I worry about oral cancer a lot. I've seen a specialist twice in the last 2 years about spots and things in my mouth. I worry about losing the ability to speak, to swallow, to eat, to taste food, all of that. As you know, talking is important to me. So I'm very vigilant. Yesterday I saw an Instagram of a woman who had a spot on her tongue that went undiagnosed, and now she's got stage 3 squamous cell carcinoma, and they're going to have to resection her tongue, and she's going to lose the ability to talk. And it went undiagnosed, and now she's living a horror story. I saw that, and my day just spiraled. Madonna's brother, dead at 63 of pancreatic cancer. Daniel's mother, my friend Daniel Charleston, 60 years old, dead, glioblastoma. Daniel Charleston, 34, dead, ketamine overdose. My friend Chris Breen from Macworld nearly died, throat cancer. My friend Eddie McGuinness in Ireland nearly died, throat cancer. My friend Andrea Rademan, undetected cancer, uterine cancer that had spread, dead. Her husband, 6 months later, Alan Rademan, dead, tongue cancer that they found when they were doing a dental cleaning. This is my world. My sister, brain tumor, ICU sepsis. And yesterday I got into a real funk. I thought, you're 63. You don't have much time left. 20, 25 years if you're lucky. If you're lucky. And you don't feel like you've nearly done everything you need to do. Now, I am a vegan, and I do exercise more than any of you. But I still am so worried that I'll leave Ember, who had a physical yesterday and appears to be okay. You know, I'm so worried that I will leave undone, having not done the things I wanted to do. So health is on my mind and has been all growing up. I had handicapped parents. Both my parents were disabled. Hospitals were the norm for me. So I worry a lot more than you, as you know, about health. But yesterday I looked at America and and the Mitch McConnell thing and Donald Trump. What's one of the number one issues in the news that people talk about Donald Trump? His health. What's the one thing that they still talk about Joe Biden? His health. Health. You know, when you're a kid, you hear the saying, if you got your health, you've got everything. And you just think, yeah, whatever, I'd rather have $1 million. No, you wouldn't. You would give all the money in the world. Madonna would have given all of her $800 million to save her brother. She couldn't. And so in this country, where we just got the news that Obamacare record numbers have fallen off because of how much it cost because of the Republicans, because of MAGA. Because of MAGA not extending the subsidies, millions of people now don't have health care. You heard about my sister's partner going in and needing a shot of antivenom for being stung by a scorpion, and they couldn't give it to him because it was $50,000 and he didn't have insurance. That was just yesterday. So why, if we know that health is the most important thing in the world, there is nothing more important in your world, why don't we have universal health care? This morning in the Las Vegas Review-Journal, there's a story about people getting hit with $1,500 ambulance bills because ambulances are not covered by most insurances. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. When you're having a heart attack or you're bleeding, whatever it might be, you're afraid to call 911 because if they come to you, it's $1,500. There are people taking Ubers to the emergency room to save the $1,500 in America. That is a disgrace. Not having universal health care is a disgrace. And that disgrace falls solely on the Republican Party, on MAGA. That is their problem and their fault. Now, Mitch McConnell has universal health care. Donald Trump has the best health care in the world. You and I, we're kind of on our own. And yet we know that our health is the most important thing. And yet in this country, it is the thing that we ignore the most. Let's start with health care insurance. If we really cared about Americans, and I saw a preacher the other day say, we are not a Christian nation, and this is a preacher. He said, we are not a Christian nation. A Christian nation would not have murdered Native Americans and made them live in squalor and poverty. He said this. A Christian nation would not have allowed themselves to be built by a generation of people enslaved. A Christian nation and the people in the South who think they are so Christian would have never fought a war so they could own people. They went to war to own people. That is not Christian. I know in the Old Testament the Jews were slaves and all that. I get it. But it's not, and who liberated them? God. God liberated the slaves in the Bible because it's wrong. So we're not a Christian nation. And anytime MAGA likes to say, we're a Christian nation, there's a Christian fundamentalist out there that wants the country to become a theocracy, a Christian theocracy. And he has lots of followers, including Donald Trump. But we are not a Christian nation. A Christian nation wouldn't murder Indians, Native Americans. A Christian nation would not enslave a people and go to war to keep them as slaves. A Christian nation would give every person in it access to the best health care in the world for free. Jesus, if you believe in him, I don't, but Jesus in the Bible healed the sick. So that must be something that Christ felt very strongly about, healing the sick. A Christian nation would take care of their sick. We are not a Christian nation because we allow homelessness. Every Christian that sees a homeless person and doesn't take them into their home is not a Christian. And I don't want to hear excuses from those of you listening to me that fancy yourself Christian. If you are a Christian and you don't feed and house the poor, then you're not a Christian. This proves that we are not a Christian nation. The fact that health care for all people is not covered because Christ, if he existed, would cover health care for all. It's just that simple. Christ, if he existed, would not demean and dehumanize people and make them line up in the heat for food. He would give it to them. Grocery stores would have a sliding scale. A Christian nation would make reparations to those they have harmed and beg for forgiveness from black people, from slaves, from gays and trans. We are not a Christian nation because we allow Christians to harm gay people and trans people, and God would not approve. Judge not, lest ye not be judged. Love thy neighbor as thou would love thyself. I could go on. But healthcare was one of the biggest things on Jesus Christ's mind. The health and well-being of his followers. And yet in this country, in America, we don't care about the most important thing in our lives. A Christian nation would be concerned with climate change because people are dying. 25 people died over the last 2 days on the east coast of the United States from the weather. Thousands have died in Europe from the weather. And yet we can't even get Donald Trump or these other good, devout Christians to acknowledge that climate change is happening. And yet it's killing people. And it directly affects our health. The most important issue, our health, is affected by climate change. Our ability to eat, to grow crops. And we ignore it. We ignore it.
Patreon is the way to show you care. Subscribe today if you dare. Keep the show on there. Patreon is the way. Now it's showtime.
We are not a Christian nation or even a nation that cares because we let people run around with mouths that are horrible. Because dental care isn't even covered on regular insurance. And we make people sacrifice their teeth because they can't afford root canals, crowns, bridges, implants. So they run around with no teeth in their head, or rotting teeth, or painful teeth, or gum disease. That's not a Christian nation. One of the only things that government should be concerned with is the health of its people. Period. Because the only issue that matters in our lives is our health. And so much of politics pertains to our health. Climate change legislation directly affects our health, our ability to live in regions, our ability to grow food, our ability to have potable drinking water. All of that is directly affected by climate change and by government regulation. The most important thing in your world is your health. And yet it's the one thing our government ignores. Free health care for all is a right. Health care is a right. If freedom of speech is a right, if owning a gun is a right, then your ability to live a healthy life is a right. But we don't see it that way. Let's talk about food. We are a nation that has been lied to for centuries about what is good and what is not good to eat. Okay? Donuts, not good to eat. Processed foods, not good to eat. Fast food, not good to eat. Most of what's in the grocery stores, not good to eat. Meat and dairy, not good to eat. And yet, that's all we eat. Those things that I just listed as not good to eat, meat, dairy, processed foods, fast foods, pizza, donuts, hot dogs, hamburgers, not good, poison, toxics, give you cancers. That's our diet. The United States president, an example for the world, eats fucking McDonald's and is happy about it. Some of the worst poisons and toxins in the world. And he acts like it's a good thing. Now, granted, I wish it would do its job and kill him, but, health, his health, my health, your health. Is exercise ingrained in our culture? Do we grow up with an exercise ethic? No, we do not. What have you done at 10:38 in the morning right now for exercise? What have you done? What have you done? Show me in the chat room. What have you done? What have you done today for exercise? I'd love comment down below. What have you done today for exercise? What have you done? Because all the while that I've been on the phone dealing with doctors and ICUs, and the car which has to be towed back, I had to bring a fecal sample over to the vet for Ember. I dealt with all that this morning. Breakfast and everything. But what else did I do? 20 minutes of energetic yoga, 10 minutes of weights while I watched all about Nigel Farage resigning, and then 2.5 miles in 94-degree heat, including jogging up a hill 4 times in 94-degree heat. Why? Because it had to be done. I can't do the rest of my day without doing those things. So everything, including being late for the show, has to take a back seat until I finish yoga, weights, jogging, healthy breakfast, snack when I get home, protein drink with hemp seeds, chia seeds, protein powder, psyllium husk, 8 ounces of soy milk, 2 tablespoons of cacao powder, a hot cocoa. Those are for health. Both those drinks are for health after a workout. What have you done? What have you put in your body today for food? I've put, for breakfast, 8 ounces of soy milk, half a cup of oat groats, unrefined oatmeal, 1/4 cup of walnuts, a cup of mixed fruit, kiwi, banana, mandarin orange, blackberries, blueberries in the oatmeal, a cup of tea, because caffeine is actually good for you, 3 cups of tea, then 2 tablespoons of cacao with more soy milk, homemade, and Torani sugar-free syrup, and then a protein drink of a scoop of protein powder and flax and chia for omega-3s. What have you put in your body? Oh, and a multivitamin, of course, and algae oil, and magnesium and calcium. What have you put in your body today? What have you put in it? What kind of fuel have you given it this morning? What kind of exercise have you done already? I have already walked 2.5 miles, jogged up hills, done yoga, weights, and now here I am. What about you? What have you done? And don't tell me you can't do that because you've got to deal with things. I was jogging up the side of a hill in 94-degree heat talking to a doctor about my niece's BUN level and her creatinine and all these other levels, which were soaring, by the way. That's why she's going on dialysis. I was jogging back to the bike talking to the car lot. I was doing, other chores while bringing the poop over to the vet. What have you done for you this morning? What fuel have you put in your body? What exercise have you given it? People, pretzels and Red Bull, exactly. Coffee, and yogurt, exactly. And James, you know better, by the way. You know better. Kennedy, good for you, a 7-mile bike trip. Good for you. That's a good thing. A salad for breakfast with shrimp crisp. Well, the shrimp would have preferred you had some other kind of crisps. It is our someone else said absolutely nothing. It is our number 1 priority, but it's not. And that's going to be my goal in life from now on, to make sure you take care of yourself. Because there's nothing more important. Donald Trump is not more important than your health. He's not.
It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Corralcast on your favorite streaming service. You're listening to the Corralcast. Driving you home or driving you crazy. It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Carell Cast on your favorite streaming service. You're listening to the Carell Cast. Driving you home or driving you crazy.
Now it's your time.
You know, there's a story in the UK press about Madonna's new album, which is brilliant. If you have not listened to Confessions 2, please do. It'll make you dance. It'll make you sing. Madonna finally remembered that she's Madonna. And I mean that. She has finally remembered who she is. And she has delivered an incredible album called Confessions 2. It is introspective. The lyrics are poignant. And yes, it's all set to dance music because just like me, Madonna and I agree that dance music doesn't have to be about nothing. And a couple critics have said Madonna is finally facing her mortality, that she is aging. And there's issues that come with that. And she is finally facing those issues, including waxing poetic for the past. That's part of life as you age. So that also got me thinking about the health issue and how it is the most important thing. Madonna told Graham Norton she's 68. Her knee is shot. Her knee is just completely shot. Her hip is pretty painful all the time. You know, she is not in perfect condition. And remember, she nearly died of sepsis. And so Madonna is facing the fact that she is 68, that she will not be able to be herself, you know, all the way through her 90s. And that sooner or later, dance albums and dance videos are not going to be able to help it. And that she is going to die. And she's finally facing that. I think her brother passing at 63 and her other brother passing of AIDS has also shown her that life is fragile. There's a song on her album called Fragile. So, having this conversation with my friends, they said that's why you can't worry about it. You just do everything you can do and then live every day to the fullest. And I questioned them. Well, what does that mean for me? It's a cliche. You can't not worry about it. You can't. I just saw John Cena talk about how he worries about it. He now is of the age where he thinks about death in a productive way, in a motivational way. And I can't not think about it. My brain just does it. So what does live to the fullest mean? Well, stress is a killer. Everything you see about how to live longer, it says increase your social activities, go to art. There's been so much research now that art, culture, literature, photography, museums, plays, concerts, photography exhibits extend your life and lower your biological age. And can stave off dementia and Alzheimer's. It's proven. We know that the arts are good for our health. This whole show is about how we know what's good for us and we won't do it. You know that you shouldn't not eat meat and dairy, but you do. You know that you shouldn't have processed foods, but you do. You know you shouldn't eat fast food, but many of you do. And you excuse it away. You just excuse why you have to do it. You know that you should get at least 30 minutes of exercise every day, preferably an hour. You know that. Oh, but my back. Oh, but my knees. Oh, but my shoulders. Oh, but my schedule. Oh, but the kids. Oh, but the this. Oh, but the dog. Oh, but the husbands. Excuses. Justifications. You know you should see friends more, that it's good for you. Oh, we're busy, and by the time I get home, I'm tired, and I don't want to go out, blah, blah, blah. And then comes one of the number one killers of Americans. Stress. Donald Trump is bad for the health of America. MAGA is bad for the health of America. Not only their ridiculous policies and their complete and total stupidity, but the fact that they live to cause stress. That gives them great joy. Nothing gives a maggot more joy than upsetting a liberal. I mean, they're happy as a pig in shit at that point. Stress. So how do you get rid of it when you live in today's world? How do you get rid of stress so it doesn't literally kill you?
If you're not visiting reallycorrell.com daily, you're missing out. Get the podcast videos and the blog, including recipes, at reallycorrell.com. That's really KAREL.com.
Showtime is here, no time to fear. Corel is so near because showtime is here. So on with the show, let's give it a go. Corel is the one that you need to know.
So, first of all, no, I am not on a statin. My cholesterol is 126. Why? Because I am a vegan. Statins are the biggest fraud drug there are. They give you a statin to do something that you could do on your own because you won't do what you need to do. Very few people. There are some biological cases, where you do need a statin. Sometimes you're on a medication like a protease inhibitor or PrEP. If you're on a PrEP, you need to be on a statin. If you're on a protease inhibitor for HIV/AIDS, you need to be on a statin. However, barring a biological predisposition for high cholesterol, which some people do have, diet is where you get your cholesterol. Well, how much cholesterol do I eat in a day? How much? Anybody? Take a guess. How much cholesterol do you think I eat in a day? 0 milligrams. All cholesterol comes from animal products, period. All of it comes from animal products. Now, if yours is biologic, okay, being a vegan and exercising can bring it down to where you don't need a statin, but that's not guaranteed because you're fighting your body. You're fighting biology. However, if I were your doctor, I would make that your first line. If you have biologically predisposition for raised lipids, I would in fact make you a vegan and make you exercise at least 30 minutes a day. If within 6 months they didn't drop to an acceptable level, then I'd put you on a statin. But for the first 6 months, it would be vegan diet and exercise. And if that didn't lower it enough, then a statin. Statins fuck with you. Yeah, they can be safe. They can also cause muscle cramps, muscle spasms, all kinds of things. No drug is benign. So let's talk stress. I am possibly one of the most stressed people in the world, and I always have been. Okay? It's not new. And there are some people, as my psychiatrist and my doctor says, where that is it's normal to my body. Stress does not affect my body the way that it affects other people's bodies because it's how I grew up. Parents that were always sick or in the hospital, never knowing where our next meal was from, never knowing if we were going to be homeless or not, being gay, being bullied, being picked on, being different, being ostracized. I have always been stressed. Always. I just used to deal with it better because I did things that relieved it, that gave me great joy. Yesterday, my friend David Etheridge said, if money weren't an object, what would you do today to give yourself happiness? That was my answer. Silence. I didn't know. I am 63 and I no longer know what makes me happy. It's a terrible place to be. It is. I know that talking about Donald Trump and politics every day does not make me happy. It makes me stressed. I know I'm good at it, and I know we need voices like mine out there. And I do this because of that need. Because we need strong, liberal, socialist, progressive voices out there to combat the noise coming from Trump and MAGA. And so I sit here every day, 4 days a week, doing a show that I don't really like doing that much because I don't like getting stressed and angry over Donald Trump every day, and the man infuriates me. I don't like having to wish that he would drop dead. I don't like having those thoughts. When I see the white supremacists marching through the streets and the terrified people on the subways, my first response is to protect them, to make them feel not alone, to go hug that black girl that was in the middle of all those white supremacists, or the Asian guy, that there's another photo of an Asian guy in the middle of all these cowards with masks over their faces and Confederate flags. Yesterday, some asshole here in the chat room was all, it's not the Confederate flag, it's the flag of General Lee, blah, blah, blah. It's the same fucking thing. The person doesn't do their research. There were 3 flags used by the Confederacy, and yes, one was the northern flag of General Lee's army. It still symbolized the Confederacy. But that maggot yesterday was too stupid to know that. Stupidity now angers me. I get so mad at stupidity, and there's so much of it. I am mad all the time now. I go to the park and I see all the people parked in the red zone by the dog park every morning. There they are, parked right under a sign that says no parking. And I fucking want to blow up their cars. Why? It doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect my life. I'm not the monitor of the park. That's not, why do I want to blow up their fucking cars? But I do. I want them arrested. I want them dragged away in handcuffs for being so stupid that they would park directly under a no parking sign. Every time Trump speaks, my blood boils. Every time now I read these stupid editorials, I'm gay, not queer, there's a difference, it matters. I want to find that author and smack the shit out of him for being just so stupid. I don't like being that angry. I'm not stressed, I'm angry. I'm angry like almost all the time now. And I don't like it. I don't. And I'm sure that you are too, and you don't like it. Why do you think we want Donald Trump gone? Because we are tired of the way he makes us feel more than anything. That is really why you want Donald Trump gone. Oh yeah, the policies are terrible and it's bad what he's doing in Iran and everything. But the main reason you want him gone, you don't like how he makes you feel. He doesn't make you proud to be an American. He makes you embarrassed. He doesn't give you joy when he speaks like Barack Obama used to. He makes you mad. He makes you angry. He makes your blood boil. You don't like that. And you don't like the alternative, tuning out, not being able to do something that you've done your whole life. Read the news. I have read the news my whole life. So have you. You don't like not being able to read the news now because it makes you too angry. You don't like the way Donald Trump and this administration makes you feel because they anger you. They make you sad. They make you mad. They make you worried. Is Social Security going to be here? Is my pension plan going to bail? They give you stress. That's why you don't like Trump. He adds stress to your life a lot. And you don't like that. You don't like it. Stupidity frustrates all of us. And we've all turned a little bit into the whole get off our lawn kind of person. I never used to be that person. I'd say, oh, have fun on my lawn. Have a party. I'll come out and join you. So what do we do? What do we do? If our health is the most important thing, and it is, and Donald Trump is bad for it, what do we do? Run away, turn away, run away, turn away. I'm there with you. I am there at that inflection point with you. Talk show hosts are supposed to have all the answers. I think this is an answer that you and I are going to find together. What do we do? How do we strike a balance of being a responsible American who votes, stays informed, knows what's going on in politics and government, maybe not a policy wonk, but knows enough about what's going on in the world so you can inform when you vote. How do we balance being a good American with being a healthy American? Can you be? Can you be a good American without being negative? Is that possible? And yes, in the chat room, Sandy, Trump and his followers make me feel depressed and hopeless, and I hate that feeling. Obama made me feel hopeful and positive. Exactly. Yeah. I want him gone so he'll stop wasting all our money so we can't have services. Exactly. Yep. I have too many issues to allow Trump a role in my thought process. Oh, I buried my cat Bentley thirsty. Oh, my God. Oh, James Schnabel, I'm so sorry. I know how you loved Bentley. Oh, James, I am so sorry about Bentley. I know how much he made the move with you and everything. James, I'm so sorry. Oh, my heart just goes out to you. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I hate to hear that, the loss of a pet. May Bentley rest in peace. May his memory be a blessing to you. He loved you. You know he loved you. So, I'm so sorry about that. Animals give us joy, don't they? Don't they just take us away from all of it? Doesn't Ember just take me away? When we're running at the park and she's running to see Kimba and Linda, just running full speed, not touching her back right leg down, which the vet said is probably just age. Doesn't it give you joy when you see your dog just do, or your cat or your bird or your fish or whatever, just do something cute? I think we both, you and I, you the listener and me the talk show host, need to find ways to not be so angry, to not be so depressed over Donald Trump and over MAGA and stupidity. Look, the nation is going downhill. We can't really stop that. I mean, we can vote, we can march, we can make our voices heard. Absolutely. Yes. But can we stop it? It's kind of like a train. It's got momentum and it's got weight, and hurling yourself in front of it will just get you thrown off the tracks. So you adapt. How do we adapt to this world and still find joy? Because that is what's going to make you healthy. Right there. A positive mental attitude is going to do a lot for your health. And you're going to want to care more for your health. If you feel good about life, you're going to want to live it, which means you're going to want to be healthy, which means you're going to take better care of yourself. When people are depressed, they become unhealthy. They don't exercise, they don't eat properly, their mental status is not good. That's depression. And we are in a great depression. We really are. Not financial, although many would argue that we are in one of those too. We literally are in a great depression of mood. The nation, except for MAGA, and they're, where ignorance is bliss, 'tis folly to be wise. So, and no one will ever accuse them of being wise. They're happy because they're so stupid they don't know that they shouldn't be. Okay? Stupidity does bring happiness. With great intellect does come bigger emotions. The smarter you are, the more heavy emotions will find you. The greatest thinkers of our time, Einstein, Socrates, Plato, go on down the line, Mandela, Gandhi, they all had their demons. Because with great empathy and great understanding comes great emotional pressure. So how do we balance it? How do we balance it? Love. Isn't it just that simple? Love. Love. Love of life. That means you have to craft a life that you love. I will tell you, I do not love the life that I have crafted. I don't. It was so horrible this morning, 94 degrees out there exercising with Ember. It's just horrible. It's going to be 107 today, 110 tomorrow. That's fucking horrible. There's no way to slice that. It's horrible, and I did this to myself. I never thought about summer when I moved to Las Vegas. I didn't. I hate it. I'm not that person. I lived by the beach for 43 years. I don't like summers here. So, we all need to start crafting lives that bring us joy and love. It's what we need to do. And I'm going to try to help. I'm going to try to uplift you more than trouble you. And I'm going to try to inspire you more than make you angry. Because I am corrupt. Be who you want to be, so I don't hurt anybody. But I love you.
Patreon is the way to show you care. Subscribe today if you dare. Keep the show on there. Patreon is the way. Now it's showtime.
Yes. Rachel Mira, you're right. We have to find a way for you to leave Las Vegas. It's true. We do. I have to find a way because I'm not happy here. I'm not thriving. I'm not big in the gay community here. I have no gay social circle. I don't want to be involved in the Las Vegas community. I don't like the Las Vegas gay community. I don't. It's very cliquish, very country. Very bumpkin, very not sophisticated. I don't like that. But I love that I have my condo. I love that Ember is alive. I love that I talk to you guys. I don't like what I talk to you about. I don't. I wish I could do shows like back in the KGO days. Where we talked politics for maybe one of the hours. But the other 2 hours were general interest topics and just fun topics and call-in topics and just fun stuff. I'm so happy in the kitchen when I'm cooking. I'm so happy on those shows when I'm in the kitchen just cooking. I love that. I love showing you how to be healthier in the kitchen. I love that. I love taking you places, to Ireland or to a movie or to go see the flowers at the Bellagio or whatever, and taking you behind the scenes and showing you how it happens. That kind of stuff, I love. I love writing songs. I love writing songs. It is so much fun to write a song and then sing it and know you wrote it. Or to hear someone like Thea sing it. And I sent a song to my friend at BMI yesterday, and she recommended it's for trans people. A song I wrote when Next Benedict was killed. And it needs Celine or Barbara and she recommended Yolanda Adams, who I love. And I said, well, do you know Yolanda Adams? And she said, well, yes, I do. And I said, well, can you get her the song and let her see if she likes it? And she said, yes, I will. To hear Yolanda Adams sing a song that I wrote, oh my God, I'd wet my pants. I love that. That's what I love. What I don't love, the headlines. I don't love the headlines and having to talk to you about them because there's nothing in there for us anymore. We're lost. So New York buildings are being evacuated after construction workers found buckling beams in Midtown. Wow, ain't that something? A high-rise has been evacuated. Las Vegas home prices hover at record highs. That's good for me for selling, but not good for me for buying. Las Vegas man questions ambulance ride not being fully... Oh, what about this Democrat, Graham Plattner? Time for him to go. Time for him to go. Because you can't win when you're mired when someone just came forward and said you raped them. Now, did he? I don't know. He says he didn't. But, is this a plot because the Republicans will stop at nothing? They were dating this woman and him in 2021. And now that he's cleared all the other hurdles and is the candidate, now she comes forward and says, well, he raped me. Did he? Is she being paid by Republicans? I don't know. But it's so bad that he has to go, which is sad. Trump wouldn't go. MAGA wouldn't go. Why should Democrats? Why should Greg Plattner? You know what? I don't like what he did, and I certainly don't like him if he's a rapist, but I'll tell you right now, a Republican or a MAGA would not stand down. They wouldn't. That's why they win. Because anything can come along, and they don't care. And their base doesn't care. If Greg Plattner can win and give the Democrats a needed seat for a majority in the House, I don't want to say then should we care that he's a rapist? Because we should. But us always being better than them allows them to win. Yeah, we're on the moral high ground, but we're alone and not in power. You know, I used to say, I don't care if he eats fetuses on the steps of the Supreme Court as long as he can win. But I do care. And I care about victims. I just don't know that this woman is one because it just seems fishy that the allegations would come now. The timing is suspect. And Chuck Schumer's already cut him loose. The Democrats are so quick to turn and run. MAGA doesn't. Trump would not cut a candidate loose with this kind of baggage. He wouldn't. Donald Trump, according to a civil court judge, is a rapist. Okay? Proven in court. Allegations proven. And he's president and everybody respects him that follows him. So, should Greg Plattner leave? Well, yeah, in a perfect world, Graham Plattner should leave. He should. It's a horrible thing to be accused of. But are we in a perfect world? No, we're not. You know, we're not. So that's in the news. Nigel Farage, who's a friend of Trump's, he's resigned as MP. But don't worry, he's going to run for re-election as MP. And the reason he's doing this is so he can shut the other side up. If he wins his re-election, then he has proven the people don't care that he took a £5 million donation from a Chinese person and didn't act like it was a political contribution, treated it like it was a private gift. So he's going to resign and run again. And if he's elected, then I guess they don't care that he was given $5 million. Should we care? I don't know. You know. So, a very angry gay man are they talking about me? Activists' 11-year fight to overturn Trinidad's homophobic laws reaches its final hurdle. You know, all gay men are angry these days if they're paying attention. I mean, truly. MAGA rages as Trump's firework fiasco descends into chaos. That's good. All right, I'll be back tomorrow unless I have to go to Tucson to be with my niece. I'll post either way. I am Carell. Be who you want to be, so don't hurt anybody. Try to find some joy today. Be as happy as Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Of course, you're not a billionaire, but try. You know, Prince Harry lost a court case today, but I bet he's still happy.
It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Carell Cast on your favorite streaming service. You're listening to the Carell Cast. Driving you home or driving you crazy. It's broadcasting from a completely different point of view. Yours. Listen daily to the Carell Cast on your favorite streaming service.
Showtime is here, no time to fear. Carell is so near because showtime is here. So on.